My first question is this a ruling that you were expecting?
Yes, definitely we're expecting that ruling because she was reading from our draft order. This is what we had asked the Magistrates Court to do some more than 5 days ago. And so we were expecting this, and the judge really rose to the occasion in the sense that she gave us a judgment that is in accordance with the law.
Do you think the bail conditions are very stringent in this case?
Well, that's what we had requested ourselves. They are stringent for now, but this is to allay any fears that the state may have. All we want is for him to get liberty, and he has got it.
You're a constitutional expert, Mr. Madhuku. Do you feel that this is bigger than Ignatious Chombo, that this is a case about the rights of every other Zimbabwean out there?
Certainly so. I think the statement that the judge made, that in fact the detention was unlawful, the 48-hour rule was breached. That's what she said. It's a very strong statement to the army, because he was taken by the military, and they thought that they were above the law. You can keep a person for 9 days, you don't account for them, and then suddenly you dump them in the hands of the police. Now, that was outlawed by the judge, and there will be consequences, legal consequences. We'll be taking it up when our client comes out.
Do you think the family are celebrating about this decision? We've noticed that they didn't attend the initial hearing throughout the day.
Well, they were clearly in fear. You have seen the son who was crying here, and so on. This was a very heavy burden on them. So it's like you are watching something that is quite serious. You want to hear the news rather than to actually see it. I mean, they were fearing for the West where they might not get bail. So it was not that they are very, very happy as we speak, but they couldn't stomach just to seeing the whole process. Yeah.
When do you expect that he will be released?
Tomorrow morning he will be out.
Okay. Right,
but tomorrow morning is going to have a trial at the Magistrate Court. How is that going to? What's the process?
By the time he comes to the Magistrate Court, he would already be a free person. We will make sure that all efforts are made. He gets to appear at the Magistrate Court for the routine remand. But at that process, we will be dealing with other issues. So he's coming, but by that time, I'm sure we would have paid, you have to pay the 5,000, you have to surrender the travel documents, you have to give the title deeds and so forth. So it might take some time to have all those things put together. But certainly, he's not going back to Chikuru.
Okay, you say that you're going to challenge the military from their case abducting your client. How is that going to be done? Because I think that's going to be the first one in Zimbabwe. I
mean, we are no longer really having any headache. The judge has already ruled that he was under state control. The state breached the 48-hour rule. That's what the finding that the court has said. Now, there are consequences. We expect the state itself to come forward before we even take them to court to say, look, the courts have held. If they have not, they have difficulties, so they must appeal the decision that has been given. But this is a court. This is the High Court saying it was unlawful. He was unlawfully kept, and he was kept for more than 48 hours. That's now on paper. The next thing at the damages, they must compensate our client. We don't have to go to court. We'll go to court if they don't do the right thing, which is just to come forward on their own. Isn't that straightforward? They have to come forward and say, look, we have heard we wronged. This is what we are offering to do. They must apologize, first and foremost, and then secondly, they must offer some monetary compensation.
And what's the step forward after your client has been granted bail today?
The step forward is we have got bail. We will be waiting to see what investigations the state is undertaking. We are waiting for the trial date, which is to then defend ourselves against the charges.
Just one more question, Mr. Madhuku. The judge in a ruling earlier, she said that whether someone had been detained by the army or the intelligence or the police, they're all agents of the state. Yeah. Do you think in that light it is then fair to single out the military, to say that this is more of the military versus...
I mean, it's known that, this is military. There's no need to say that you are singling out. Every Zimbabwean knows that from 15 November up to that date, it was the military that was going around taking people. They didn't even, they were boasting about it. They announced on television on the morning of 15 November that we are rounding up criminals, we've accounted for them. What has the military to do with arresting citizens? It's totally ridiculous. So it's not a question of you saying you don't have to go to court. The military has arms of force, they have guns, they are abusing those guns. That's what they're doing. And we should never stop saying that this is unlawful mail because someone has a gun. They can kill all of us. But they shouldn't. The court has spoken. If you are a state agent, because the only reason why that soldier would be picking on anyone is because they have a gun. And that gun, they got it from the state. That gun, they got it from taxpayers. They are paid by taxpayers every month. And you can't use your taxpayers' salary, your taxpayers' livelihood to go around rounding people. And it can't be their own basis to say, this is a criminal. Who are they to say that? Criminals are determined by the courts, and that the police must investigate these matters. So you have a judgment which is very clear. It's a very serious judgment that whoever it is, if you are using state power, then, I mean, Chiwenga is just an individual. He cannot arrest anyone. But Chiwenga, as the commander of the ZDF, is abusing the power to then say go around. He will not always be the commander of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. There is a constitution in place. And that's what I think is coming out openly here. It's done, and
Thank you.
right. They can never be taken and so on.
But do you think with the status quo that was there before these guys were part of government, was there any possibility or any chance of successful prosecution and investigation, given that at one point Minister Chombo was Minister of Home Affairs at some point? So would the police have been able to investigate and arrest him when he is their principal?
We have no issues. He can be arrested but must not be kept in custody for more than 48 hours. Unless you are saying there's a law for the military, which is that when the military comes in, there are no rules to apply.
No, that is
because that's what it means. Whatever justification is given, patakanyora constitution, there is what kune masomo. There is what kune situation ukwanisa kuoma. Kana mechida to amend the constitution, kutaura kuti pane nguva yatichazoita army. Anduzona. If we don't do that, then we must go by the rules as they stand. These guys are right. President has to visit an election. We will make sure that and you do that. Then it's another lawyer who can do that. That's clear. And that's why people have to come to the court. Imagine if we had started to go from but if we got to court, magistrate, 3 days and so we will never do it. That's why you know, high profile like a Sungo. We just accept the Olinga White Diaper, we don't go to jail for a day or two. That's what we like.
Thank you very much.